Did Eivor ever experience any weird events before the game Valhalla took place? Well, a 3-issue comic series called The Song of Glory answers that question. Let's get into it. Eivor's village was a village that bent no knee to any one king. And right now they find themselves under siege by Kavoti's men who are seeking their allegiance. But the village is burned, and up upon the hill, Eivor, a daughter of King Stureyborn, sees this as an opportunity. Her village sits at the edge of Stureyborn's territory, and should they offer their aid and rescue them, then they will have no reason to pledge to her father. Eivor's friend Dag reminds her that there are only 3 of them, and they are clearly outnumbered. Eivor tells him that she is not afraid to die, and Dag says that they all know that. But how about a little strategy? If her brother Sigurd was here, he would surely advise stealth over suicide. Dag says that they'll send Tora in to kick up some dust, and while everyone is rushing in to kill, he and Eivor will make their move in. But as Dag looks back to run his plan by her, he sighs, knowing that she has already gone. That girl is going to be the death of us. Down in the village, one of the raiders calls out to tear the huts down, that they need to find something. And then he's suddenly struck from behind by a blade through his chest. As the raider's body falls to the ground, Eivor stands back up. She declares who's next. Using her distraction as an opening, Dag and Tora make their entrance into the fray. Normally, Eivor's brother Sigurd would be joining her in such festivities, but currently he is walking his own path on Bulgar, in search of a known swordsman called Tekken to craft him a sword with no equal, one made of crucible steel. Tekken pulls a sword out of the rack, asking, "One like this?" And Sigurd stares. "Yes, I see the stories about you are true. But what is her name? All good swords must have a name." Tekken says that her name is Vengeance, and she will never be his. Sigurd tells him that he doesn't understand. Tekken goes on to explain that the sword was a gift for his brother, a peaceful man, a caring man, and he did not deserve to die. So Sigurd inquires as to how he died, and Tekken explains that he was murdered for his silks, murdered by a bloodthirsty Norseman like you. Oh, how I've waited for the day of retribution. First we will have your weapons, and then your life. Sigurd braces himself. He lets Tekken know that his name would have been honored, and now it will be forgotten. Sigurd throws a knife into the man behind him, easily knocking away the blacksmith's child, telling him that his courage is admirable, as is his thirst for vengeance. Grief is a terrible burden, as his kin will be reminded. A spear is then thrown into Tekken's head, and another man enters the hut with Sigurd laughing. Ha! Typical Nude. Always charging in once the Valkyries have flown. Sigurd picks up the sword, and Nude takes all of the weapons. As they're beginning to loot and plunder, Sigurd declares if only his sister were here, she'd be having the time of her life. But back over at the village that Eivor found herself in, she continues cutting down Kavoti's men, when Roscoe, the raid leader, knocks Eivor to the ground, asking, "Did you think this would be easy? We've only just started." As Roscoe's hammer slams into the ground, barely missing Eivor, Eivor tells him that he has no idea who he's dealing with. Roscoe kicks her, asking, "Don't I? Looks to me like you're Stureyborn's brat. Wait, you're actually his daughter, right? Kavoti told me all about you. How he raided your village, killed your father, while the son of a rat begged for mercy. So what's it going to be, Eivor? Stand up and fight or die like your father, like a coward?" Eivor spits the blood out of her mouth. She'll never die on her knees, unlike him, and she slices away, cutting through Roscoe's legs. Roscoe falls to the ground screaming, telling her that he will be drinking with the Allfather tonight. But Eivor looks back, stating that he won't die by her sword. He isn't worthy to drink of Odin's piss. As the last of the raiders are dispatched, Eivor looks towards the village elder, telling him that they are rescued and they will receive their due now. They shall claim this land in the name of King Stureyborn, son of Olaf, Jarl of Stavanger. The elder says like hell they will. Stavanger never cared about them, and he won't bend a knee to him or anyone else. The elder draws his sword, brandishing it against Eivor. Before he could even move, she stabs him. He slumps over. She turns to the villagers, asking if they would care to join him, and if not, gather their tribute while the dead are collected. Soon, though, Eivor hears a noise coming out of one of the huts and she goes to investigate. At first, she sees nothing, but then a crazed woman with markings runs out with a broom. Eivor steps aside, sticking out her foot, causing that woman to fall. She looks closer and asks if she's a slave, and the woman explains that she is Gull, slave to Kavoti, slave to the Norns. But who is she? What face does she wear? Whose soul does she hide? Eivor scoffs. She assumes that Gull is mad. Gull's head is filled with stories of Aesir and Vanir, of Kotavi the Cruel, maybe even stories of Eivor, Lady of Ravens, Slayer of the Wolf. As Eivor grabs Gull's arm, she says yes, she will make a fine gift. Later, Eivor returns to Stavanger with her spoils of victory to present to her father, Streborn. But as she does, he asks, what did she do? Eivor wonders, is he not pleased? He explains that for 20 years, Kavoti had been kept from Stavanger. 20 years! And she just ruined it. Eivor brings Gull forward, stating that she also brought tribute, a storyteller. But Streborn says that this woman is more than that. Look at her collar and her robes. Whatever this woman may be, she is prized, and she will be missed. Eivor has just brought disaster upon the house. She has brought death. Later that night in Agdir, Roscoe returns to Kavoti to inform him of their raid and the loss of their seeker. Roscoe explains that they were ambushed and Streborn's daughter was there, and there was nothing that they could do. Kavoti stands from his chair asking, nothing you could do. You've always been a loyal servant, and for that, I thank you. And now, your reward. With a single swing, Kavoti cuts off Roscoe's head. The bloodied piece of skull lands on the floor, bouncing a little, and Kavoti wipes his blade. Called my champion, Zark. Gull is the key. She must be recovered. The next day, Eivor and Tora are sparring. Eivor furious. She demands to know if her father will ever show her the honor that she is owed. Tora asks, what honor? A warrior? A queen's? And Eivor knocks Tora down. A god! Gull overhears. Gull explains that she can make Eivor a hero. That they speak to her from across the Rainbow Bridge. Gull has seen the splendor, the majesty. Gull showed Kavoti, but he tortured Gull, burned her, hurt her. The daughter of ravens will never hurt Gull, will she? Not if Gull leads her to the Aesir's horde. Eivor pauses for a moment. I'm listening. Gull explains that there is glory, gold, silver, gemstones, and pearls. All of them are for the taking. They are high on Fixstafir's peak. Tor wonders if she means the mountain. And if she does, she knows that Gull is insane because no one can climb that mountain of their own free will. She wants to know what Eivor's brother would state. And Eivor says that Sigurd isn't here. He's off, forging his own legend, and now it's her turn. So days later, she is climbing the mountain with Gull. She checks back asking if they're on the right path, and Gull explains that they are. After a slip and a catch, Eivor and Gull continue their journey. Eivor questions it slightly, but Gull always informs her that the treasure is real. Meanwhile, down by the river, Sigurd and Nud are sneaking into the manor that the boy told them about to confirm that it is indeed as wealthy a residence as he spoke of. The two quickly steal what they can when suddenly one of the nobles that they were avoiding wakes up from his drunken haze. The man attempts to grab Sigurd, but he thrusts his sword upward into the man's head. However, not before that man could scream. The guards pour into the room and Sigurd and Nud fight them off with relative ease, but there is one among them wearing strange robes. The man says that they picked the wrong party to gatecrash. Sigurd asks, "Is that so, unarmed man?" Suddenly, a blade springs out of the man's wrist. Oh, outstanding. This is going to be fun. But back with Eivor, she and Gull make their way into the temple, where they find Kavoti's men already waiting for them. Eivor wants to know why they're there, but Gull explains that it's obvious. Kavoti's men are there for the same reason as Eivor. The Zark broadside. Gull has brought a present for our master. Gull has done well, yes. As Gull finishes yelling, Eivor sighs. The wedding is off. You betrayed me. And Gull says that she betrayed herself. Her dreams will be her own undoing, daughter of lies. Eivor goes to fight the men off, but it is Gull who brings out a knife, stabbing Eivor in the back. Zark laughs, asking if this is Stravanger's prized daughter. Eivor says that he will know two things. First, she is no one's prize. Second, by the end of the day, Heimdall's riches will be hers, and she swears that on her father's name. Zark bursts out laughing, asking, "Haven't you heard? Your father's already dead." At that time, it's Kavote's men who are beginning their raid of Stavanger. But before anyone could know it, a pair of arrows find their mark in Stregborn's chest. As everyone rushes to his aid, Dag calls out to protect the king, but the raid leader says that the choice is simple: bend the knee, or they can kiss the bloody axe. Dag clashes with the leader, stating that they will never bow, and the raid leader laughs. Torches are thrown on the huts, and the town begins to burn. As Tora begins to question, where is Eivor as Stavanger burns? Back at the temple, Gull walks up stating that she brought Zark a present. Gull's master will be pleased. He slaps her down, stating that Kavote will be happy that he has her treasure. Eivor laughs. "You stupid troll. Gull can't tell you anything if you crack her skull." Zark begins to beat on Gull over and over, and in a fit of rage, he throws her aside, demanding to know where is the treasure. Eivor throws herself into Zark, yelling to leave her alone, and as Zark throws her off, he asks if she's really protecting the witch who betrayed her. Eivor tumbles back and off a ledge, barely hanging on, and Zark tells her that he's beginning to believe the stories that he heard of her. Back over Sigurd, the robed man lunges with his hidden blade, as Sigurd dodges it, stating that the idiot's blade may be fancy, but it's no match for crucible steel. The robed man swings, cutting the sword in two, asking, "Really?" And then he stabs Sigurd in the stomach. Sigurd falls over in disbelief. The robed man turns towards the window and sees the guards coming in, and he sighs. "The order has already been here. I must hurry and fetch what I came for. May your gods greet you well." Back up on the mountain, Zark tells the others to look for the treasure. The sooner they find it, the sooner they can leave, but from behind, Eivor climbs up. She informs him that she's sorry to say, but that won't be happening, thrusting her sword into the back of his head. Erland then swings at Eivor, knocking her back, and as she hits the wall, she looks at it. She realizes that it displays where Heimdall dwells. She breaks down the cracked wall, and it leads into a vast room full of gold. And Erland declares that they have found Heimdall's treasure. Eivor reaches for an object, but Erland grabs her by the foot, telling her that this belongs to Kavote. But Eivor kicks him off, stating that she doesn't see Kavote here. He rolls back, knocking the others over the ledge with him. And she watches. Maybe he did piss off Heimdall. But behind her, Gull reaches for what Eivor almost picked up, stating that it is the fruit from Idun's orchard. It is Gull's bounty. Eivor calls out to Gull, and Gull stands with the object, stating that that is not her name, that this is not her life. She now holds an Apple of Eden, an Isu artifact, and she begins to pull her collar off. Eivor says that she doesn't know what Gull is talking about, but that treasure belongs to her father, as does she. She lunges it and suddenly stops in place as Gull tells her to stop. She struggles to move, asking what has Gull done. Back with Sigurd, he manages to slay the guards that were patrolling, and he follows the robed man as he begins to collect something. The robed man says, at last, and Sigurd asks, what is it? He can appreciate a fellow thief, but he came here for some dirty cloth. The robed man turns back, telling him that he has no idea what this dirty cloth is worth. And Sigurd tells him, and you have no idea who you're facing. The two swing, but it's Sigurd's axe that slices the robed man's chest. The robed man falls, and more guards begin to storm the area, with Sigurd explaining that he won't be leaving empty-handed. The robed man fights back. You can't have the Shroud of Eden. And Sigurd says he doesn't want that. He has his eyes on something else, cutting the man's hand holding the hidden blade. However, for Eivor, Heimdall's temple begins to crumble as she continues to struggle, telling Gull to release her from this witchcraft. If we stay, we're going to die. And Gull tells her that death does not scare her. Gull then drops the object. The spell releases, and Eivor asks if that babble is it. Just imagine what her father could do with that item. Gull scrambles trying to grab it, telling her that no, she doesn't understand. The world is not what it seems. Eivor tries to reason with Gull, but Gull asks if she did not hear Zark. Her village is under attack. Her father is as good as dead, and if she attempts to take the Apple of Eden, they will both die. So, Eivor, Lady of Ravens, has a choice. Risk everything for glory or save her people. Become the person, or save her people and become the person that she is destined to be. Back at Stavanger, the raid leader bashes Strayborn, telling him that he should be proud. He fought well, but his rule is at its end. Tora calls out, trying to distract him, but the leader turns back swinging, slamming his axe into Tora's neck. The leader then looks down at Strayborn, telling him that there is no one left to protect him, when suddenly his head is separated from his body. The head bounces and rolls by Strayborn, and he looks up. Yes, I knew you wouldn't let me down again. He looks up to see Eivor holding another raider away, as she tells him never again. Dag then asks where was she, and she says that she was making the only choice that she could. For Stavanger! Meanwhile, in Constantinople, word has gotten back to Basim, the Hidden One's commander, about their scout, Amon, the man that Sigurd fought. Basim sighs, stating that he knew Amon wasn't ready. Who was it? The Order? And the scout says that that's just it. It was a Norseman, and this Norseman has a mark on his neck, just as described. Basim smiles. The mark? Then it is time. I must meet with this Norseman. He will change everything. And that brings us to the conclusion of what is basically the prequel to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, how Basim found Sigurd and Eivor and the whole nine yards. I do apologize if I mispronounced like the town names and stuff like that. I do know some of them are mentioned in the game, but that game is just so large. I figured I would Google how to pronounce a lot of those and just go with that instead, because most of those characters don't arrive in the game, but obviously the king's name is in the game, and so is the town. So I apologize if I butchered them horribly. I was trying my best. I don't speak Old Norse, which is when you Google what the Vikings spoke and what all those names are based around, so I did try my best, and I apologize if it's way off. But like I said, it wasn't any of the important elements. Eivor, Sigurd, all of them, Basim, those are the characters we need to care about. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today. I'm going to be coming back with some more Assassin's Creed lore. Make sure you like and subscribe, as every Friday we bring you something with Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy, or another game that I'm just interested in following. It's all for fun over here, guys, and I'm enjoying it. Thank you so much.